Imagine it's about 3:20-ish in the afternoon, and the sun starts getting darker and darker until it looks like it's after sunset, and after a couple minutes, the sun goes right back to normal again. As nature detectives, we can figure out exactly what is going on here and why we know that this will happen for real across North America, including most of New York State, on April 8th, 2024. The first nature clue that tells us what kind of natural phenomenon this is the time of day. 3:20 in the afternoon is way too early for a normal sunset to happen. The second nature clue is how fast the sun goes away and how fast it goes back to normal. It only takes a few minutes for the sun to go almost completely dark and then return right back to broad daylight like normal. This is clearly not any sort of normal light condition that would be a response to any normal sort of weather pattern or climate activity in New York. And the third nature clue, speaking of the weather, is that this will happen whether it is sunny or it is cloudy. Doesn't matter what the weather conditions are that day, the sun will go almost as dark as if it is past sunset. So let's put all those nature clues together. The sun will get very dim over a period of a few minutes and go right back to normal, whether it is sunny or cloudy at about 3:20 p.m. This must be a total solar eclipse. You might have heard of solar eclipses before, or even seen a partial solar eclipse or an annular solar eclipse. What makes a total solar eclipse unique and rare is that the sun almost goes completely dark. If you don't know that a partial solar eclipse is going on and the sun is only partially covered, you might not even notice in your day-to-day life. But on April 8th, 2024, everybody on the path of this solar eclipse will notice. A total solar eclipse happens when the moon moves directly in between the sun and the earth, casting a direct shadow onto the Earth's surface. One thing that makes this coming total solar eclipse so rare is that it's happening near where people live. A lot of total solar eclipses happen out in the middle of the ocean or out in rugged mountains or out in the desert, away from big populations. This total solar eclipse is tracing a path through Mexico, across the entire United States, through most of New York, and into Canada, covering every country in North America. It turns out that human beings are very interested in the sun and the moon and the earth, and they've been studying the movements of these bodies for thousands of years. We can predict with absolute confidence exactly where, in relation to each other, all of these objects were at any time in the past and exactly where they will be at any time in the future. For example, we know that the last time there was a total solar eclipse in the area of Rochester, New York, was 1925. They opened the World Fair with a celebration of that total solar eclipse. As you can imagine, people across the world are very eager, very interested in seeing this natural phenomenon, so they might travel to your neighborhood if you live along the path of totality. If you're planning to travel to see the eclipse, you should have a very careful plan in place with a couple of backup plans. Be prepared to follow unusual traffic directions or deal with long lines at grocery stores and pharmacies for a couple of days leading up to and a couple of days following the eclipse, as these local rural areas especially deal with a huge influx of visitors. If you live in the path of totality, you don't have to travel at all to see the total solar eclipse. You can watch it right from your neighborhood. In fact, check with your school district. They might have already set that day aside as a day off so that students don't have to worry about all the extra traffic that'll be on the roads on that day, and you can enjoy and learn about the eclipse right from your neighborhood. Well, thanks so much for joining me for today's Nature Mystery. Make sure you follow your local and favorite state parks and historic sites and DEC sites for all kinds of planning information leading up to April 8th. Make sure you follow museums and science centers and libraries and school districts for all kinds of educational materials about the solar system in general and total solar eclipses in particular. And if you like Nature Detectives videos, make sure you follow Letchworth State Park on Facebook and Instagram to stay tuned for more nature mysteries.